Our next speaker is the First Lady of Country Music. Make her welcome, the First Lady of Country Music, Tammy Wynette.
J.D., ladies and gentlemen, I received a phone call about 3 months ago asking me if I could come today, and I thought the young lady on the phone said that they were going to toast J.D. Sumner. Now, I turned to my husband and I asked him what he thought about this, and he said, "Are you crazy?" He said, "There won't be anybody there except you and J.D. Sumner." And he said, "You're not going anywhere where it's just you and J.D. Sumner." After my husband calmed down, I returned to the phone to talk further to this young lady, and I understood then that it was a roast. So my husband just smiled and said, "Oh yeah, go ahead, I do want you to do that because people have waited for 40 years to do this." And he said there'll be a huge crowd and people will even pay to see this. You know, I grew up on a farm, and the only music that I heard was gospel music, quartets. The Blackwood Brothers and the Statesmen were my heroes. And as a kid, my parents would take me to the all-night singings all over the world, all over the South. The first time I saw J.D., I knew in just a few short seconds that he was, without a doubt, the best bass singer in the world, the smoothest bass singer in the world, and surely the lowest bass singer in the world. Because, as I said, it only took a few seconds for J.D. to tell the entire crowd that he was the world's lowest. Now, I was just a kid back then, and J.D. was already an old man. But I don't know exactly how old J.D. is, but I can promise you one thing. He'll never live to be as old as he looks. I've known J.D. for quite some time now, and not that that's anything to brag about, but I would like to dispel a rumor that I've heard, well, more than once, I guess. You too may have heard this rumor that J.D. will occasionally take a drink. Well, I'm here to assure you, J.D. Sumner has never taken a single drink. A double or a triple maybe, but never a single. But he has been... J.D. has been an inspiration to many singers, so he says. George Younts, for one, didn't he teach you everything you knew, Joe? Yeah, that's what he said. Richard Sturban, didn't he teach you? Richard, okay. And Harold Reed, I believe he taught Harold everything he knows. And I remember when Richard sang with J.D. and the Stamps, and J.D. would let Richard come out and do a few songs, and then J.D. would come out and said, "Let the old man do it, you know." So I'm going to show you how it's done. Well, J.D., you must have really shown him how to do it, because you came in a cab today, and Richard came in an armored car just to guard his jewelry. You really showed him how, didn't you? J.D. has been married to a lovely lady, Mary, for 44 years. And for that reason alone, come March, I think the Gospel Music Association should consider Mary for the Dove Award. J.D. came by my house one day with a horrible black eye, and he said, "Look what Mary done to me." And I said, "I thought she was out of town." And he said, "I thought she was too." Mary and J.D. have two lovely daughters, Frances and Shirley, and I have 6 children. And one of my 6 is adopted. And their first child, Frances, a beautiful girl, is adopted. And since we both have adopted children, I just asked Mary one day, out of curiosity, why she chose to adopt their first child. She looked over at J.D. and asked, Tammy, wouldn't you have been a little reluctant to take a chance on that? When J.D. was born, his proud father came into the room where Mrs. Sumner was holding the newborn, and his father lovingly asked, what do you think of him, sweetheart? She looked down at J.D. and she looked up at her husband and said, I will never forgive you for this. Seriously, folks, we're all having fun today at J.D.'s expense. And I would like to end my portion of this event by saying to J.D., quite seriously, J.D., of all the wonderful, loving, giving, thoughtful, honest people that I have met in my lifetime, you, J.D., are certainly not one of those. Let me tell you that, in my opinion, this has been a total waste of my time. But I love you.